Hi, welcome to the Choice Skills Show. I'm George Rogers, your host. You know, we live at a time of incredible opportunity. It's an exciting time to be alive, but sometimes it seems almost too exciting. And one of the reasons is that while we live at a time when the potential to solve so many of the problems the world has faced for centuries exists, our challenges, our problems seem to be expanding as fast or nearly or even more fast than the opportunities are increasing. It's an exciting time, but almost a little too exciting on occasion. And why is this? You know, the reality is that most of the problems that we're facing today, we've created. Now, maybe not you and me exactly, but maybe we participated, who knows? The point is that our kids today are being faced with challenges and choices to make which are sometimes way beyond what they're prepared to make. And what I want to do today is to explore how you as homeschoolers and as parents, concerned parents who want to help your children be prepared to safely navigate these troubled waters of today's world, how do we prepare them, and what are some of the things that are most important for them to know and understand. So let's take a look at some thoughts I hope will be helpful to you.
At the end of the tail of the Little Dipper is Polaris, also known as the North Star. The North Star sits almost directly above the North Pole and is unique in that it hardly moves its position. It is the star around which the entire celestial sphere appears to turn. As a result, for thousands of years, travelers, whether on the open seas or crossing trackless deserts in caravans, have been able to find their direction by finding the star and knowing which way is north. On cloudy nights, however, travelers would be unable to discern one direction from the other and could easily become lost. It was, and still is, a solar GPS, providing unerring guidance to travelers who understand what it is and follow its direction. Those who don't get lost and wander in strange paths. What does this analogy have to do with other kinds of choices we are continually making in our daily lives? Unfortunately, all too many don't seem to have any kind of a North Star to guide them in their choices. In a 1989 study by the Girl Scouts of America, it was discovered that 65% of high school students said they will cheat on an exam, and 50% of all students said they would rely on their own personal experience to decide what is true. In 1991, Prentice Hall published a book titled The Day America Told the Truth. It was about a day set aside in which researchers across the country have interviewed people from all different walks of life about what they believed about things that really matter. 74% indicated a willingness to steal from those who they thought wouldn't miss it. 64% said they would lie when it suits them. 56% say they will drink and drive. 53% are willing to cheat on their spouse. Another 41% indicate that they use recreational drugs. And 30% are willing to cheat on their taxes. What's astounding about this is that 93% indicated that they were the ones who decided what's right and wrong. A New York Times article by David Brooks on September 12, 2011, reported on a research project conducted in the summer of 2008 by distinguished Notre Dame sociologists, in which a research team conducted in-depth interviews with 250 young adults across America. I quote from his article. The interviewers asked open-ended questions about right and wrong, moral dilemmas, and the meaning of life. In the rambling answers, you see the young people groping to say anything sensible on these matters, but they just don't have the categories or vocabulary to do so. The default position, which most of them came back to again and again, is that moral choices are just a matter of individual taste. It's personal, respondents typically said. It's up to the individual. Who am I to say? Rejecting blind deference to authority, many of the young people have gone off to the other extreme, saying, I would do what I thought made me happy or how I felt. I have no other way of knowing what to do but how I internally feel. Those who conducted the interviews emphasized that the majority of the young people with whom they spoke had not been given the resources by schools, institutions, or families to cultivate their moral intuitions. So it appears that the vast majority of people, probably both young and old these days, seem to believe that they are their own moral center. They have no other moral leader to guide them. But does that really work? This will be the topic of our next presentation in the Choice Skills Show. I hope you'll join with us then. Thanks for being with me.